Hi guys, welcome back to the Bring Your A-Game YouTube channel. My name is Adam.
My name is Adam.
And we are the Adams from A-Game Consultancy. So we are going to be missing third wheel, which is Mr. Adam Hindley today.
Where is Mr. Hindley?
I don't know. Maybe he's in the next room. Who knows?
Don't know.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about some of the benefits around quitting alcohol and some of the lies around alcohol too, because we've all been lied to around alcohol most of our lives, really. And there's just about a drink for everything, isn't there? There's the celebration drink, the morning drink, the after work drink, the pre-drink.
Let's just have a drink.
On a night out drink. I've lost my job drink. I'm celebrating a new job drink. It's Tuesday drink and all that kind of shit. So we're going to be debunking a lot of the myths around it and giving you some tips on how to overcome it today. All right.
That's right. Yeah. So this video is 5 tips of how alcohol is destroying your life.
So the first one is it wrecks your sleep. It absolutely destroys your sleep, and I think the most common misconception around this is that it really helps me sleep, but it doesn't, does it?
No, that's right. Yeah, it's one of the biggest misunderstood sleep aids out there. So what it actually does, it will help you fall asleep, but it doesn't actually help you sleep once you've actually drifted off to sleep. And that's because alcohol is a sedative, and sedation is not sleep. They're two different things. So it doesn't matter if you have 1 drink or 10 drinks. What it does, you have your sleep cycles, stages of sleep, and you have a cycle of sleep. And basically you go in and out of these stages. There's 1 to 6, and you go in and out of them all night long. But the one that it particularly affects is your REM, which is your rapid eye movement sleep. And it disrupts that stage of sleep. So that stage of sleep is actually really, really important, because that's when it's where your problem solving increases. It's where you're restoring your memory, remembering things, and all that type of stuff. So, and alcohol interacts with that bit. It affects you going into that REM sleep as many times into the night, which is why you wake up a bit irritable, a bit foggy, and because you haven't really slept. It's sedation. That's why.
That's when people say a nightcap. So it's when they'll have alcohol after a meal, typically later at night. And yeah, the nightcap is a fallacy. It's not true at all. So the next one is really the myth that we want to debunk, and the things we want to touch on are that it helps you to relax. It doesn't. It creates more stress and it creates more anxiety. It doesn't help you relax at all. And really, it's down to the association of the habit. So it might be that you've had a hard day at work, you want to relax and unwind, and you might get that glass of wine, or you might go to the fridge and open the bottle of beer and then pour it in the glass. That might be the thing that you're more actually addicted to, the feeling of it, of having that relaxation time, when you could get the exact same effect off a non-alcoholic alternative. So it takes around, roughly, is it around 4 minutes?
4 minutes to take effect, yeah.
For your brain to actually register it's alcohol. So the association to the gin or the wine or the beer, it isn't true. It's the fact that you're just associating the relaxation with it.
Yeah.
So again, there's so many great alternatives out there. That's how you can simply get over that habit of going to the fridge or after work drinks or whatever it might be.
100%, yeah. And I think when people say it does help me relax, it does in that moment. Yeah, because from a physiological point of view, it artificially stimulates dopamine, but it then hits GABA and hits glutamate. So these are neurotransmitters in your brain. These are hormones. So it'll lift you up, but at the same time, it's slowing down your thinking. But that's not truly relaxing you. That's why. And what it's actually doing is, although it's lifting your mood, making you feel relaxed, in the background, on a deeper level, it's actually enhancing anxiety and depression. Because that's what it is. It's a depressant at the end of the day.
Yeah, we've all said the thing after a night out, anxiety, when you're hanging out of your backside from the night before and you're dreading what it is that you've done. You might have messaged your ex, or you might have done something stupid at the Christmas party in front of your boss and all that kind of stuff. Because people forget, and I don't mean this to teach people how to suck eggs, but it's a drug. It is going to drastically alter your behaviour in a, more often than not, quite a destructive and negative way. And I've seen it before, working in hospitality for 14 years, where, it might be the quiet guy in the office, and then at the Christmas party, it's, crazy Andrew's going to come out. It's like, no, he's probably always been more extroverted, but he doesn't feel confident enough in order to do it. So therefore, he's now doing it because he's got the alcohol. Or it might be the fact that it's an overconsumption of the drug and he is actually releasing a different side to his personality because it is a drug. There's those two alternatives. But I often think that most of the time it's people that feel comfortable now and it's like the excuse in order to do it, when in reality that's who they are behind closed doors anyway. So the next one is that it affects your clarity, your focus, your energy. It's so negative on the compound effect, as we like to call it. So if you imagine very quickly, you're out on a Saturday night, and it's 5 p.m. and you're going to meet your friend and you're just going to have a couple of Diet Cokes. So you have a couple of Diet Cokes and then you go home at 6:30, 7 as originally planned to go see your partner. You have dinner, you spend the night together, watch a film, wake up in the morning, no hangover, whatever. You get up in the morning, you do exercise, you have a morning walk. Great. Might be that you go with the intention of having a couple of Diet Cokes. You actually have vodka and Diet Coke, and then you go, let's have a couple more shots. Let's stay out a little bit longer. You don't end up going home to see your partner. They're now annoyed because they've cooked dinner for you. You spend even more money. Now you're absolutely steaming and it's like 10:30. Your partner's really fuming. Your dinner's been thrown away. You've spent way more than you ever thought you were going to do. You're really intoxicated. You might even buy a takeaway, which if you're on a weight loss journey, it affects that too. You feel like shit, you get home, you probably sleep on the sofa or you might throw up or whatever, and then you're not going to be doing the thing that you had planned with your partner. You're going to eat shit all the next day. They're going to go out with their friends and enjoy themselves. You now are probably going to go out as well to sober up and air of the dog and top up from the night before, and then it just carries on to the Sunday too or the Monday or whatever. And it might sound like an extreme example, but this happens every weekend, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, we've lived it.
Yeah. We've lived it, and it does. It really does affect that productivity, focus, and energy. And a lot of it is because of the sleep, for the first one that we talked about, because it wrecks that sleep. And that's why it affects other things as well. But yeah, it's the knock-on effect. I would like to refer to it as it's the catalyst to a lot of issues around your everyday life. And we don't necessarily think, oh, it was the drink last night. Even if you just had 2 the night before, or 10 if you as you explained there. It's one of those things you won't know until you remove it out of your life, and then you'll go, oh, it was that.
You either control it or it controls you. So we're not saying that, if you have one or two throughout the week and you're in a great mental health space and everything's amazing in your life, awesome. I'm jealous because I never mastered it. But at the same time, if you're curious, just take that break. We always encourage people to take a 30-day break because that culture around drinking is so toxic.
Yeah.
And it's because it's been ingrained in us for such a long period of time. But if we can change our belief things around race, religion, politics and whatever as we get older, we can also do it around this too. Unfortunately, because it's so ingrained in us and the marketing and the advertising and everything else, when we talk about it, people often question it and get frustrated, don't they?
That's it, yeah. Unfortunately, alcohol it's the only drug that you have to justify not taking. And I've had conversations with people like, it's a drug. It's not a drug. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's the one that kills the most people by a landslide in comparison to cocaine, ecstasy, and everything else in between. So I need it for a night out. I can't go on a night out without drinking. It's impossible. It's not. People do it all the time. And you don't have to use an excuse of designated driver or I'm on medication or whatever when you eventually become confident enough to go out and do it. But really, you're probably just associating yourself with the wrong people if they're questioning it to that extent. First week, second week, okay, you might have a bit of banter about it and you might get a bit of flack. But after that, if they keep going on about it, it's a bigger problem for them than it is for you.
Yeah, this is one where if you're someone who drinks alcohol and you use it every time you go out, and then if you decide to take a break from alcohol, then you go out, that aid, that crutch is no longer in your hand. And I remember when I did this, I don't know if it probably happened to you and the 100 people I've helped with this, it feels a little bit weird when you go out because you're so used to going out and going, yeah, I'll take a beer, please. Or yeah, I'll have that cocktail. Yeah, it's a glass of wine. And this is where we play these characters when we're out. You're so used to in that circle of friends, that's what you've always done. You've always met up. You've always had drinks. But now you're going into that situation. I haven't got the drink. Ooh, what are they going to think of me? What are they going to be thinking of me when they turn around and go, Adam, can I get you a drink? And you go, I'll take a Coke, please. To be like, what?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, what's happening now? And then, yeah, you have to be prepared in those situations. That's the thing. But I think moving into the point that we're talking about, this is where it creates false confidence. So you're using alcohol as a crutch to give you that confidence to start conversations with your friends, maybe to go talk to a girl or whatever. It's false confidence. it's giving you that boost. Whereas when you actually remove it and put yourself into a social situation where everyone else is drinking and you're not on your own, but you haven't got that crutch, what happens then is it's weird at the start, but then you start to build genuine confidence, and it's genuine, it's you, it's authenticity, and it's not the alcohol doing it for you. And it just becomes a lot more comfortable. It takes a bit of time to get to that point. And I think the more you put yourself out there into those situations, the better. And that confidence and that authenticity grows.
Yeah. Hindley and I went on a night out last year and we're having a great time, laughing, joking, dancing, singing, completely sober. And a woman came over and was like, "You're not drinking, you're so boring." We're like, "We're having a great time, but now you're ruining it because you've come over and you've told us we're boring. We're not doing anything to you. We're just having a good time." But your association might be that if you don't drink, you're boring. But in reality, whenever we criticise someone, more often than not, we're doing that and we're pointing the finger and there are three pointing back at us. So I knew in that instance that it was more of her insecurity than it was about us being boring. But that can be very off-putting for people.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's your circle, because luckily it was just me and Hindley and mine at that time, and it was her and her friends. I didn't know this person. But if it's just me and 6 or 7 of my friends that are doing that, it might increase the peer pressure, or it might mean that you want to distance yourself from it. But there's a couple of arguments to this. Obviously, if you're trying to lose weight and you're hanging around at McDonald's every day, you're probably going to have a bit of a struggle. So having a break from it, you'll probably become a little bit stronger. So it really depends on where you're at right now as to whether you want to have that 30-day break or not. If you can feel comfortable enough to go out with your friends and you don't think they're going to ridicule you, or if they do, you don't really care anyway, awesome. But if you want to give it a little bit of breathing space, then maybe do that too. Point number 5 is how negatively it impacts your overall health. Especially if you're on like a body transformation or weight loss journey or fitness journey. Again, the compound effect that we touched on earlier, all it takes is a few beers, because we always forget about the calories that we drink in day-to-day life, lattes and orange juice and all that kind of stuff. But when you add alcohol to the mix, it makes it 10 times worse. And then you'll probably get a takeaway, you'll probably be hungover. When you're hungover, are you really going to be eating salmon and scrambled eggs like you planned, or are you probably going to go for the bacon, sausage, butty? Again, nothing wrong with that, by the way, but you get my point. They're a lot higher in calories. So this is one of the biggest issues that we used to see when we were on our sort of fitness journey and what have you, and cutting it out completely. You're always in control of your choices. When you're hungover, you feel like you're not, because you just want that greasy, stodgy food, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. And there's actually studies on that as well, where when people are hungover or the day after alcohol, that they actually make poorer choices. We know this from studies, because it affects your brain, it affects your choices that you're making. But also, when it comes to the health side of it all, there's a few bits that you touched on there. I mean, there's a lot of things it can or may affect or correlated with some health issues, but we can't say that causes that. We can't say alcohol causes whatever, cancer, this, that, but it is correlated with a lot of things. But on the weight loss journey, as you mentioned, when it comes to calories, definitely, because this is what a lot of people may not realize, is that the calories in alcohol are what we refer to as empty calories, which means they don't serve any nutritional value for the human body, unlike if you were to, have another form of drink. But that's the problem. So what happens is when it goes into your body, it goes straight to your liver. And then the liver is, I don't want to get too sciencey, but it is, I could talk about this for ages, but the liver is a fantastic bit of kit, because it has over 500 functions. And a lot of people forget about the liver. But what happens is when the alcohol hits the liver, it has to prioritize the calories from the alcohol. So things like fat metabolism and other processes that are going on, they get affected. It actually slows down whilst it's dealing with these calories from the alcohol. It's toxic at the end of the day, so that it wants to get rid of it. So whilst it's doing that, as I say, it's slowing everything else down. Plus you've got the excess calories that you've consumed, and then it's the pizza shop on the way home, and it's the next day with the poor food choices that you're making. Hence why we've seen this with at the start of some clients when they first sign up with us, that if they're on a weight loss journey, they'll do really well Monday to Friday. They'll stay in their calorie deficit. I've done perfect, but then they go out at the weekend and they drink in excess. They go way over their calorie surplus, way over, and that just takes out the entire week. And they're wondering why they're not losing weight.
It's crazy. So we're hoping that you've seen value to these points. If you've got any comments, questions or whatever, then please feel free to comment below the video. Hit the subscribe button. and it'd be great to see you in there. We've also got a fantastic Facebook community that is full of like-minded individuals that all want to better themselves and take themselves to the next level. So hopefully you've seen some value from this, guys, and we'll see you next week.
But I still am afraid.